Welcome back. The Modi cabinet is taking shape. The detailed list should be coming out in some time. As I said earlier today, there are two things of great interest in New Delhi today. One is who's getting what portfolio, who are the young faces, what's going to be the average age, how much of a chance does Mr. Modi take with this kind of cabinet. The second, of course, is on Mr. Nawaz Sharif. I'd like to welcome media advisor to Nawaz Sharif, Tariq Azim. He's joining us from Islamabad. Good evening, Mr. Azim. It's been a long time. Good evening. Good evening, yes. And welcome to Times Now.
Thank you.
As I said today, the great deal of attention on your Prime Minister, who is meeting Vajpayee at 2 o'clock. I'm just giving a news update for our viewers. Then there is a Bollywood touch to Mr. Nawaz Sharif's visit, because Dharmendra and Shatrughan Sinha are calling on Nawaz Sharif. Delhi is seeing a lot of diplomatic activity this evening, and tomorrow I'm told Karzai and Nepal Prime Minister Koirala also will be calling on Nawaz Sharif in Delhi. So Nawaz Sharif is taking maximum opportunity to also interact at different levels while in Delhi. And then Nawaz Sharif will be meeting Narendra Modi at the Hyderabad house. I think that's happening at 10 minutes past 12 tomorrow. So Nawaz Sharif has as packed a schedule as Modi himself in the first part of the day tomorrow. Also like to welcome Brigadier Javed Hussain from Karachi, just welcoming and introducing the panel. General VP Malik, former Chief of Staff, Salman Soz of the Congress Party, Vani Tripathi Tikku of the BJP, and I also welcoming, before I go into our first report on what Mr. Sharif has been up to, is experienced diplomat, former Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, KC Singh. Thank you, KC. It's good to see you after a long time. We've been missing you in the political season. Our consulting editor and strategic affairs expert, Maruf Raza Hartosh, is with us. Lord Meghnad Desai, Vinod Mehta. With your permission, ladies and gentlemen, just a very quick report. Is the first ever Prime Minister to have all SAARC nation heads at his opening ceremony. And Narendra Modi, many people say, may have already scored his first diplomatic coup. His firm handshake with Nawaz Sharif has set the tone for the 35-minute meeting between him and Nawaz Sharif tomorrow. Pakistan will be Modi's first big challenge in office, and that too on day one as Prime Minister.
The Pakistani Prime Minister setting foot on Indian soil after over 10 years, signalling a fresh phase in Indo-Pak relations.
We have very high expectations, on that side of, the border. We hope that, we are able to live by, those expectations.
While this visit may just be a photo op for both leaders, it has successfully conveyed Modi's decisiveness as far as foreign policy is concerned. The same steadfastness of the Modi government was evident with the invitation to the Sri Lankan president in the face of protests from his own ally.
We express our pain, our protest, our agony about the presence of Rajapaksa in the swearing-in ceremony.
So as dignitary after dignitary arrived at Delhi's Palam Airport, the underlying message was clear. The Modi government was keen on reshaping India's foreign policy, ready to lead from the front.
मैं सुषमा स्वराज ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगी.
And the responsibility falls on Sushma's shoulders. One of BJP's most experienced hands has her task cut out. While a clear position on Pakistan with specific focus on ceasefire violations remains top of the agenda, strengthening relations with America and sorting out border issues with China are equally significant. So as Modi gears up for a string of meetings with SAARC representatives, the goal will be far beyond strengthening personal ties. The focus will be on outlining a cohesive foreign agenda and its implementation. Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the second Newshour Debate on Times Now Super Prime Time.
Mr. Tariq Azim, first question to open up this discussion is to you, sir. People want hard talk now. There has been enough ceremony in India-Pakistan relationship. People want hard talk. Do you think there will be hard talk tomorrow, straight talk between these two gentlemen, Nawaz Sharif and Narendra Modi? And if so, what will Mr. Sharif want to outline?
I think the agenda for the two prime ministers is almost the same. Both have been elected on economic revival agenda. So I think that is very high on their meeting when they meet tomorrow. In 35 minutes, I don't think it's going to be a long enough meeting to address the serious issues that we all know that both countries need to resolve. But it will be long enough to break the ice, even if it is not going to be a breakthrough. We hope that the meeting would be cordial, which I expect it to be. And then, of course, both have been elected recently. Nawaz Sharif has just coming to for the first year in office, and is going to be 5 years for Narendra Modi. So there will be plenty more opportunity to meet and carry on from where they leave tomorrow. So I think it's going to be a cordial affair tomorrow, apart from what has happened today, which was more ceremonial. And we hope that the agenda which Mr. Nawaz Sharif carries with him, and as you remember, during his election campaign, he had openly said that his topmost in the agenda will be trade and good relations with all the neighbors, especially with India. So he's always maintained that he's got a mandate of the people to build up good relations with India. And he's got very fond memories of BJP, and especially BJP, the former Prime Minister Vajpayee, when he came to Lahore. And he wants to take off from there where he left off in '99. So I think the meeting is going to be good. We all hope and we wish the meeting every success.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not a summit meeting. It's a handshake, and it's a one-on-one meeting, and it's on the sidelines of being sworn in.
Yes.
So it's not about getting into details, I agree. But Casey, it would be a lost opportunity. In fact, if Mr. Modi wants to hit the ground running on every single issue, then foreign policy should also be one of them, instead of just a normal, cordial conversation. It should be more direct than that.
I think what will happen is, probably if the Foreign Minister of India we are clear that Mr. Swaraj is the External Affairs Minister, they might be already in contact at night at the official level. Essentially, the two leaders will be sensing each other out. Chemistry is extremely important. I don't think they're going to get into great detail.
Yes.
What is important is to see the outer limits of what each other's constraints and each other's aspirations are. I have a feeling, and that's the word that is going around, that Nawaz Sharif has been sitting on the most favored nation thing. He may now put it on the table, because now he can
in exchange for what?
No, that is what Mr. Modi has to offer him. In exchange for what? In exchange for restarting the dialogue, in exchange for building up to something by September, when on the sidelines of UNGA, the two leaders can meet again, which is just 3.5 months away. So it gives both sides 3.5 months, but I have a feeling that he's already made that one move, which I'm told was at Indian request, which is a fisherman, because they wanted something to be shown.
That's a soft move.
Yeah, but if MFN is put on the table, they may call it whatever they want, because the literal translation of that is very, they don't like the Urdu translation of it, but that would be a very good beginning. Now, what you give in exchange would be essentially, Delhi may not say that, but they would be resuming the dialogue without, and they might get a commitment, some kind of a commitment, that he will not allow the territories, the same commitment that he gave Mr. Vajpayee.
No, but that's my point.
Yeah.
I don't.
They should definitely get some.
No, I don't. It would be foolish to expect that when these two very mature gentlemen with their own respective mandates and popular leaders will meet, that there will be acrimony tomorrow. Certainly not. But I put this question to General Malik, and then I'm opening this debate up. You see. And don't get me wrong, Tariq Azim, because the way people in India look at it is that Manmohan Singh and Nawaz Sharif also met, I think, September, October in New York on the sidelines of the UNGA, General Malik. And just days after that, we had that standoff in the Kairan sector. And Nawaz Sharif had promised good relations with India after becoming Prime Minister, but we had the killing of the 5 Indian soldiers in, ceasefire violations across the LOC. So, General Malik, there is a pattern of distrust. And I think that handshake tomorrow will have to try and find a way of breaking that pattern of distrust. Modi is pretty straightforward when he talks. You think he'll also lay it on the table what Pakistan needs to do to break that pattern of distrust?
Look, I'm sure this point will come up. beside all the cordialities which one expects in their first meeting, and assessing each other, gauging each other, and trying to be a little friendly for the next meeting also. I'm sure this point will come up, but this kind of a point may not be taken into details tomorrow. The concerns may be expressed, but they may not be able to go deep into this, and concerns from both sides will probably come up. And let me tell you that in the last 1 year, there have been more terrorist incidents, both inside India and even in Kabul, and now just a few days ago in Herat, 2 days ago in Herat. So there have been more such violent incidents, and I'm sure India can express and can convey the concerns and what it will do to normalization of our relationship. So while trade and economic definitely is an important issue, alongside this aspect also, I'm sure, will be paged for a detailed meeting subsequently.
That's the point. And again, Brigadier Javed Hussain, we are being realistic tonight. The realistic fact is that when they meet, they will meet knowing the fact that the people of India, for example, will not allow any movement in the India-Pakistan, coming together, or their strategic relationship or whatever peace-building process, if incidents like Herat continue to happen. You see, these are tough questions, Brigadier Javed Hussain. The Herat attack on the 23rd of May is the 4th such attack on Indian installations since 2008. If there is something which spoils the atmosphere, it is principally incidents like the Herat attack. So maybe Mr. Modi will seek some assurance on that front, even if he may couch it broadly in his first meeting with Nawaz Sharif.
You see, let me start by saying, can you hear me or not?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear from Karachi. Go ahead. Tariq Azim is also joining us from Islamabad.
Okay.
He can also hear you, and so can all of us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, let me start by saying that isn't it an irony that a foreign power ruled over the subcontinent for nearly 200 years, and we went along with him. They exploited us. We fought wars for them. We did everything. Yet when they left, instead of having fought them, we started fighting each other. Since 1948, this has been the story. Mistrust. And wherever there is mistrust, there can never be a relationship. I think the time has now come for adopting a constructive approach, reorientation of the foreign policy. Incidents of terror that have afflicted India, they have afflicted Pakistan many times over. Every day there is a blast.
So
somewhere.
Change the script.
Thousands and thousands of people have lost their lives.
So let's change
If Nawaz Sharif cannot give an assurance to Mr. Narendra Modi, he cannot give an assurance to the people of Pakistan. What is going to happen tomorrow? Where? Military installations of the Pakistan Army, Navy and Air Force have been attacked. The whole country has turned into a battlefield. The Pakistan Armed Forces, spearheaded by the Pakistan Army, is going after them. And hopefully...
Is that our concern in India? Why should that be India's concern? With respect. With respect. 1 second, KC Singh.
Hold on.
Sir, just a minute.
Please don't interrupt.
Sir, KC Singh wants to rebut you. I'm coming back. KC Singh wants to say something to you.
Just a question.
Mr. Nawaz Sharif cannot give an assurance to Mr. Modi that a terror strike across the LOC or elsewhere will not happen. He cannot give an assurance to the people of Pakistan.
Because the people of Pakistan are being attacked by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, whereas the people of India are being attacked by Hafiz Saeed and his groups. They are two different groups.
Absolutely.
All we are asking for is Hafiz Saeed and his cohorts to be controlled. That's all. But what is not under Mr. Nawaz Sharif's control is what is coming from the West.
Absolutely.
Actually, sir, Maruf also wants to make a point to you. Just hear it out, sir, because beyond the point, General Malik also wants to respond. General Malik, just coming to you after Maruf, please, Maruf.
Brigadier Saab, it's a well-known fact and it's well documented, and I'm not saying it. International experts and observers have said it, that the Pakistan army and the hardliners in the armed forces have had an alliance with those groups that operate and are stationed on your eastern front, which borders India. And there have been very few attacks, if any, by groups such as Lashkar-e-Toiba, who continue to target Kashmir and India.
Yes.
Whereas the targets that you are battling, and including General Sharif, who has put together the new doctrine to deal with internal insurgencies, and when you have to fight insurgencies, there will be bloodshed. I mean, this is a whole cyclical effect. I don't want to go into it. But quite clearly, the battles that you are fighting are on your western front, which have nothing to do with those groups that target India.
Why should
So to continue, this argument, it doesn't wash water with us anymore, sir, that Pakistan is a victim of terror. So don't tell Pakistan to stop terror.
Yeah.
Pakistan is a victim of the fire that you have lit. You're burning your hands in that fire. You have nurtured those groups. Some of them are biting the hands that bit you. The bigger question is, can Mr. Sharif prevail upon those in your establishment who see terror groups as strategic assets to be used against India?
I
think we would like you to address that. And more important,
his own government in Punjab.
His own government in Punjab is also known to budget money and give out of their budget to hardline Ahle Hadith groups and Lashkar-e-Toiba. Let's not get into that. I think the bigger question is there a chemistry? Is there a chemistry that is there between Mr. Modi and Mr. Sharif? What are we looking at? I essentially see 3 C's. There has to be cordiality tomorrow. There has to be chemistry tomorrow, and there has to be contours for a new relationship defined.
Yeah, you mentioned. One sec.
We are talking business.
In addition to the 3 C's and Tariq Azim, I'd like to add 1 D, which cannot be there. 3 C's can be there, but 1 D, Tariq Azim, cannot be there, and that is the D, which means duck. Nawaz Sharif, in our view, sir, cannot duck questions at least about ceasefire violations across the LOC. Because the one thing, Mr. Tariq Azim, which is there in your control, which you can hold back tomorrow, is the ceasefire violations. They actually upset the relationship each time there is a movement forward. Do you think that can be done? Let's get a view from Mr. Tariq Azim. I'm coming to you, General Malik. Yes, sir.
Now, the issue that you have just raised, the point and its effect that there is violation of the line of control from both sides. And if we don't face the realities, I think that we'll be foolish to close our eyes and say that this is not happening. From both sides, this violation must start from both sides. Like just now, you have just mentioned Herat, attack on the consulate in Herat. Now, what has Pakistan got to do with the attack that happened in Herat? Pakistan has got nothing to do with that.
You know, the
if it happens there, anybody gets... No, I mean, we have got nothing to do with what's happening in Afghanistan. You know what's going on in Afghanistan. God forbid, if there are more attacks in Afghanistan by Taliban over there, who have been fighting the forces over there, whether they are ASF forces or American forces. And this might even increase after they have left in 2014. Are you going to blame all that on us? I think totally unfair. If we are going to start on a new relationship, I think we need to look at our relationship in a better light. Also, we must also realize that both these leaders who meet tomorrow, they have got a common agenda, and the top of their agenda, of course, as I said earlier, is going to be the economic revival on both sides. And that cannot happen if both of them don't agree on steps which will have stability and peace in both sides.
Mr. Azim, everyone wants peace. Everyone wants peace. But just one small point here. And because tomorrow there's a meeting, I'm not even getting into acrimony. Is the Pakistan army going to get realistic? For example, India will not budge from Afghanistan. We have our consulates and our interests in Afghanistan. We won't budge. let there be any amount of intimidation from any groups, Pakistan sponsored or not. Now, will the Pakistan army and the establishment come to that conclusion? I just want to get in a couple of contrary views. Vani and Salman Soos coming to you, but I'd like to get Vinod Mehta and Meghnath Desai on the expectations from tomorrow.